Welcome back, everybody. Big Daddy Hop is here. I know it's been a while. In fact, when we go to see what's going to happen in this, you notice it's been since November. Um, since we last played, and so I know it's been a couple of months since we had one of these videos. But let's see where we finished off. If you remember, Season 2 was a miracle year for the Sonics. As you can see, we had this great draft pick. We went and Dylan Goyer, he actually turned into a stud. We picked up Andre Drummond and Derrick Rose to come in and play the solid veteran role player, veteran starters to lead this team. We made the trade and ended up getting Cam Reddish to come in and play the shooting guard position. Everything was just perfect. I mean, even Jordan Bell finally being allowed to start for the first time in his career. If you look at his, where's the stats? Season stats. You look at what happened. You get this rookie going 25.6 points, 11.5 boards, 4.3 assists. That was great. But Josh Richardson, who was our starter until late in the year, still averaged 15.5 a game. Cam Reddish came off the bench into the starting role and still averaged over 10. Rose and Drummond both having huge years overall, resurgent. Jordan Bell, first year as a starter. Now, this is what I've always found interesting. You look at what he did in his first few years in the league. Okay, 4-6, 3-3, and that's all great. But the big thing is you have to look at the actual, games played. And let's see if we can find where that is, because there it is. See, there it is. Games played. Never played more than 68 games in a season. He hadn't started anything in these last 2 years before we picked him up in the offseason. He'd only had 16 starts in his career. So when you look at that, and the fact that, in his careers, he was averaging best 16.5 minutes a game before we picked him up. We bring him onto our team. Look what he does. He bumps up to 9.4 points, 8.7 rebounds, 1.3 assists, and 1.6 blocks a game at that starting power forward position. And he literally blossomed before our eyes to be a linchpin in our defensive scheme as Seattle became a true contender. In the playoffs, he averaged 1.8 blocks a game and nearly had 8 points, 8 boards a game to go with it. Now, his field goal shooting dropped from 61% to just barely 47.5% in the playoffs, but still not too bad. And everybody just kind of picked it up like that. It was amazing. So we go 71-11, and of course, as you know, we swept all the way through the West before running into the buzzsaw that was the Celtics, the 6th seed out of the East, that took us to 7 games before we managed to pull off the miracle comeback to win the series 4-3. So now we're in the off season. We're going to see what has to happen here. Can we maintain? I mean, we know Goyer is ours for another 3 years. He has 1 more year on his main contract, and then we got a 2-year option. Not only is he going to be the linchpin of everything that we do, with the way that he developed from a high 70 rated draft pick to being in the 90s. He was had legendary work ethic. I mean, he just literally seemed to improve by almost 1 point to 2 points every couple of weeks in his overall rating, and by the end of the year, he was like 12 points higher than when the season started. It was great. And everybody else, and I don't know if that was because of the mentorship with the veterans, but we'll see how that works out. The contract situations, if you want to look at the contract situations, salary cap table, you'll see that right now, Kai Blumen and Williams Goss, they're both going to be gone. We may try to keep Kai Bowman. He was a great role player. We did kind of overpay for Rose, but he turned into a stalwart. That's great. And we got him for 2 more seasons. Richardson we have for 3 more years, though we're paying $20 million a year for him. Now, if he comes back healthy and again in the 80s, it could be great. Iguodala, that was one of those weird contract deals where we got him, I don't know, we traded for him and signed him. Then we got Bay coming in as a backup. Cam Reddish technically is the backup to Goyer at small forward. When we originally got Reddish in here, he was going to be our starting small forward, but Goyer actually was drafted at almost the exact same overall, and then they just kind of kept going. Bell, of course, is our starting, but Sarek is signed for 3 years, for 2 more years after this. And then, of course, Drummond, the guy that we paid big money for to give us a great starting center, but we ended up with 2 solid role-playing bench guys in center with Biombo and Patton, who played great center in reserve for him. So, I mean, we have a really good team, but now we got to see where we're going to go. So let's advance. Let's go to the off season. Let's see how this works out, and we'll just see how everybody else also kind of goes through the motions and where they get. Now, player retirements, who retires? Well, it's going to be some interesting ones this year. Pau Gasol, Dwight Howard, Paul Millsap, and LaMarcus Aldridge all retire. Also retiring Taj Gibson of the Lakers, Jeff Green of the Heat. These are all guys that have played roles, and you see there's a lot of other guys that retired, but most of them don't mean anything at this point. Staff. The assistant coach, Gennaro Pargo of the Trailblazers, he's gone. Okay, that don't hurt us any. Hall of Fame. Dwight Howard is a Hall of Famer according to the way this worked out. In his 1,250 games, he averaged 16.7 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks a game. So he is a Hall of Famer. Yay. Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic number 12 jersey that he played 9 years for. They're going to retire it. That's wonderful. League meetings. This is interesting. Change the number of fouls required before a player fouls out to 7. And it takes 27 to approve, and that's exactly what they got. And I have the power to overrule these because that's the way my league works. I can overrule them if I want to. But I think I'm going to let the 2 that were officially, officially approved according to this, I'm going to let them stand. So now it's going to take 7 fouls to foul out, which means there's going to be a lot more hacking and probably a lot more free throws. And then, of course, division winners get the top 3 playoff seeds in each conference. I have no problem with that unless you have one of those bad years where you get a team that wins the division with a 39-43 record because it's a really bad division and they get a number 3 seed in home court first round, but whatever. I'm really glad these other 3 were completely done, so I'm glad we're not going to touch those. League realignment, I don't think we need to touch this. I think everybody's right where they need to be right now. We'll see what happens. We had that very tough division in the Northwest, but at least it's not the Pacific. Okay, draft lottery. Now, as you can see, the important thing to note here is in these 20 picks for the lottery, guess who doesn't appear? That's right, Seattle. I'm not even sure we have a first-round pick, and that's something that I want to check on, but we're going to skip the lottery completely because we don't have a dog in the fight. In the end, because we won the title, we get the number 36 pick in the draft. We get the last pick of the first round, which is normal. So it's going to be interesting. But the Knicks have the number 1 pick, Sacramento 2, San Diego gets 3, then Cleveland, Kansas City, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Washington, Golden State, and the Phoenix Suns, thanks to their trade with Detroit, get the 10th pick. So it's going to be interesting to see how all that works out. All right, staff signing day. We need to sign a CFO, okay? And I can't remember who we had before. In all honesty, I can't remember. I don't know. To me, it doesn't really matter who you pick. So we're going to go, let's go with the bald guy with the beard and try to offer him the position. We're going to up the salary to $875 so that we get who we want. And everybody else is still locked in. No, we're not going to give any. No, always decline. Always decline. Always. Always. Everybody wants our head scout. Alright. No, no. Okay, so Malone does not want to be our CFO. Fine, we'll just hire somebody else that wants the job. And we'll pay him $485, which means we save money. No, he signs. So there, now we have our guy. We are done now. Moving on. Ketchup scouting. Sharif O'Neal. I don't know why in the world we hadn't done much with him. Let's see, who else do we want to look at? Isaiah Jackson has a foot issue. Okay, well, let's not do that. Pre-draft workouts. I'll be honest. We're going to need to look at point guards. I mean, I don't know. The reason I say that is because, quite frankly, I'm just not sure that Derrick Rose is going to stand up to the rigors of yet another season. Even if he's making $15 million, he's going to be 34. He's got a history of knee issues. I just worry about that. So, Deshaun Achilles. That's kind of a cool name. I don't know. I kind of like that. Okay. So, the draft. Now, do we have a basic mock draft? Sharif O'Neal would go first to the Knicks. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine Shaq's son going first to the Knicks? Wow. That's pretty interesting, actually. Let's see. Mocker Maker going 22nd. That's an interesting idea here. Okay. I'm thinking that I'm going to want to make a trade to maybe try and get Caleb Love. So let's see if we can't make a quick trade here. Do we want to try a trade finder first? 24th pick. Okay, so they're willing to make this pick for Kent Bazemore. I'm deep at small forward because I got Cam Reddish behind my, rookie of the year. So that's actually an idea. I don't know if I want to give up Rudy Gay and or a second round pick. Biombo, no. Patton, maybe. Patton may not be a bad thing to give up as well. Picking up a 24 second round pick. I don't want to give up I like this one. I think we're gonna accept this one. So Kent Bazemore, I just traded Kent Bazemore to the San Antonio Spurs, and I picked up the number 24 pick, which now means I've got number 24 and number 36 in the first round. Now we're going to see how this goes. And it looks like everything's going pretty standard. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and skip to my next pick. Okay, so that's number 24. Now, I want to see the draft summary so far. Wow, Cade Cunningham going first to the Knicks and then O'Neal going to the Kings. I find that interesting. I wonder. He was my backup. Holy moly, he was a 77. He was my backup pick for... I wonder... Is it possible? That's loud to me. Okay. Now, is it possible to trade them that and who do you think? That'd be a funny one to trade Patton for, is to get him. Okay, so they want a 2025 first round. Oh, I don't want Draymond Green. I don't want Draymond Green. But what if I did this and gave him a... Oh, what do I got here? I got 2 first rounders that year. What if I give him a... Hey! Looky there, folks. I gave him the number 24 pick and 2 second rounders in future years. Wow. Wow. That is awesome. Wow. And now I still get the final pick of this round. Now, the best guy on the board is Mocker Maker. I'm not sure I want him. Isaiah Jackson, he's the guy that they said had a bad foot. So we want to be careful there. Wendell Moore. I don't know. Do we want shooting guard? I don't know. Let's see. Arizona State, 6'5". Actually, we're going to go with Josh Christopher. Let's go with Josh Christopher. We're going to take a shooting guard because we ended up having to use Cam Reddish at shooting guard a lot last year. A lot. Now, let's skip to our next pick, which I think may be the last pick of the draft. We'll see. Okay, Isaiah Mobley. No thank you. What did we trade? We traded a small forward, didn't we? Let's see. We traded a small forward, but there's not really any good small forwards left. Patrick Levens Jr.? No. I don't know. Let's go back up here and look at some of these others. Okay, we're going to take him. I'm going to take him. He's from Duke. He's from Duke. So the last guy taken is going to be from Duke. And while I'm not a big fan of Duke, why not? So let's go ahead. We will now move forward to the rookie signings. I am going to go ahead and sign this kid. Because odds are he's not going to play much anyway. Jordan Bell stays healthy all year. We're going to be great. We're definitely taking the player options on Reddish and Bay because we want to keep them. So that's good. Look at what happens now. Kevin Durant, free agent. James Harden, free agent now. LeBron James, free agent. Kyrie Irving, free agent. Those 4 players are all hitting the market with those salaries. $58 million a year. That's going to be crazy. Williamson and Morant are staying with their teams, but Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook, Kemba Walker, all going elsewhere, while Clark, Harrow, White, Porter, Zubac, Hachimura, Garland, they are all going to stay with their teams. So that is interesting as well. Qualifying offers. I am not going to extend a qualifying offer to either of these guys because I think we might be able to get them cheaper in the long run in the moratorium. So we will see. But look at these. Look at these free agents. Doncic, Durant, LeBron, James Harden, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, Gilgeous-Alexander, Jackson, Butler, Westbrook, Levine, Kemba Walker, Porter Jr., TJ Warren, Nurkic, Bagley, Sexton, they are all out there for the taking. So the balance of power in the league for the 3rd season of this expansion challenge is definitely going to change. Okay, so before I get too far, let's go and look at our roster. Let's see what we have. We've got Rose as the starter with our rookie Javon Graves, who I think will develop quickly. He's not as good of a shooter, not as good of a scorer, but I think he may actually be a slightly better overall playmaker. And if physically, he may be up more to the rigors, so they may end up splitting the minutes almost 50-50. It may be one of those 26-25 minutes for Rose and 22-23 minutes for Graves type of thing at the point guard. We still got Josh Richardson, and we still got Bay. We drafted Christopher. What that means is Andre Iguodala may actually become fresh meat. I may dangle him out in a trade here during the offseason, but he only makes $1.7 million, so that may not be, who knows. Also, the other thing that we may do is move Bay to small forward. That may be something that happens as well. Another consideration here is the age of Rudy Gay. Sark is a 77, Bell is an 84. Those are the top two. They're going to get all the minutes. Rudy Gay is there as a mentor for both of them, but after having a full season, maybe I don't need that mentor, and I can leave my rookie as my third stringer and save a lot of money by releasing him now. Okay, so I think I think we are going to do that. We're going to let Rudy Gay go right now so that he can try and get his money in free agency. To me, that's kind of the respectful thing to do. So, really, we got 3 centers. We got 3 power forwards. Yeah. All we need is a point guard. That's it. Okay, that is the only thing we need is a point guard, and we don't even need a high-quality point guard. I know that sounds bad. But we really don't. We just need somebody who can play, solid. Ashton Hagens. Why not? He's young. Offer contract. Does he take it? Okay. He agrees. That's great. We're going to renounce rights to both Bowman and Nigel Williams-Goss. All right. So there we are. We are good to go on this part. Now, free agent-wise, let's make sure our roster's set. Hagens was brought in to be our third stringer. Richardson, Iguodala, Bay, Christopher. We're going to be okay. One of the Bay is probably going to get moved. Actually, we should do Iguodala that way. Let's do that. Let's move Iguodala over to small forward. That is easy. There you go. That is easy. And so now Iguodala is a slightly overqualified 76 small forward to be third stringer, but he gives us that veteran presence, and we're pretty good now. So now I guess it's just seeing what happens in the free agency. So social media. The Rockets locked up Kyrie Irving for 4 years, $247 million. That's $61 million a year. Almost 62. Holy crap. Steph Curry goes to the Clippers. Man, what was that? Jimmy Butler, 5 years, $240 million back to the Heat. LeBron James with the Bulls for 2 years, $123.9 million. Curry got the same deal that Kyrie got with the Clippers. Wow. Kevin Durant re-signed. Wow. $63 million a year for Kevin Durant with the Nets. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. James Harden re-signs with the Rockets. Wow. Harden and Irving still ended up together. That's funny how that works. Ayton stayed with the Suns. Wow. This is interesting. This is interesting. And so now what we're going to see is we're just going to skip all this. We're going to go straight to the player progression. We're going to let free agency play its way out. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how things played out in the free agent pool. Okay. Let's see if we can find transaction report. Here we go. Okay. Wow. Surf's on Jalen. Anthony Simmons goes to Kansas City. Wow. This is some of the undercard there, but Tremont Waters. Wow. Diallo to the Pittsburgh Force. Javon Carter to the Force. Jonte Porter. Okpala goes to the Heat. Poirier goes to the Kings. Wooten goes to the Knicks. Musa. Cam Reynolds to the Mavs. Bates Diop to the Nuggets. I mean, it's some interesting. Trey Jones to the Suns. Jared Vanderbilt to the T-Wolves. Admiral Schofield with the Wizards. He re-signs. That's nice. Wow. Some interesting stuff. Jawan Morgan to the Magic. Interesting. Isaiah Thomas to the Phoenix Suns. Chris Dunn to the Trailblazers. It's going to be interesting to see how all that plays out. All right. We're going to skip this. We can see how that worked. The Summer League. I always skip the Summer League. I have no reason to play it. And I just let the CPU take care of everything as we go through that. We celebrate my birthday. Okay. Have CPU adjust, and we move on. And now All-Star City selection. Las Vegas. All right, well, Vegas is going to host. Sweet. Auto-generate rookies. Yeah, might as well. All right. The 2K Hoops Summit. No, thank you. Training camps. Okay, we get 4 training camps. We want to make sure that we have solid free throw shooting. So we're going to have everybody get a 1-point bump on their free throw shooting. That's always big. And we're going to have perimeter defense. Perimeter defense, you want that to be a focus of your small forwards. Goyer, that's the area that he could probably get better at. Let's do that with Graves. Let's give Graves that training, okay? And then off perimeter, big man defense, Jordan Bell, definitely. And then the last thing we want to do is perimeter shooting. Who needs some perimeter shooting help? Let's let this rookie get some. Boom, he goes from 78 to an 80 in mid-range. All right, here we go. We are ready to advance to the next season. Okay? So the off-season is over. We're going to be ready to start the next season. And what's going to happen is we're going to look at our lineup here and see what we start the season with. Let's go to coaching, the game plan, all the teams. Rose is your starter. That's okay. It's not a bad starting lineup. Cam Reddish is your 6-man. Graves. Okay. I tend to kind of go with the... try to give them some minutes that you can possibly give them. Let's see, 26, and then we want Goyer to have a bunch of minutes. We want him to play at least 36 minutes a game. Jordan Bell needs to play more. Let's go down here. Biyombo. Okay, Biyombo. We're going to take Patton's minutes away because we're only going to go that far deep. And then we're going to give Drummond 2 more minutes. We're going to give Bell 3 more minutes. And that's going to allow Richardson to get 2 more minutes. Okay. So that's our lineup. Not bad. First scoring, third scoring option. I'm not even going to put a third scoring option. I think we're good. Okay, so that's going to be our lineup. Now, let's look at how the other teams in the league did. The Spurs have Giannis, uh, Murray, White, Johnson, Walker. Interesting. Hardaway Jr., that's the rookie. Boston Jr. Obi Toppin is now playing for the Virginia Storm. All right, Westbrook ended up with the Virginia. That's interesting. Ayton, Booker, Van Fleet, Kuzma, and Cam Johnson. Phoenix is going to have trouble. Anthony Edwards, Schroeder, Herter, Kuminga, and Boucher. Interesting there. Oklahoma City. Thomas Bryant, Baisley, and Gilgeous Alexander is your top three. Wow. Timberwolves have Towns as usual and Russell. Jarrett Culver is still there. They've got Okogie and Dinwiddie to go there. That could be interesting. Lillard still with the Trailblazers. Nurkic still there. Trent Jr. McCollum still there. Cody Zeller has signed to go there. That'll be interesting. And the Vipers, R.J. Barrett, Giles the third, and then they even picked up Terrence Mann. But man, they are weak. They are not very deep. And honestly, it's sad, but our backup point guard, the rookie that we actually traded them away from with one first-round draft pick for this year and 2 future seconds, probably would have been their second or third best player. That's bad for me. Klay Thompson, all by his lonesome. No Splash Brother with him anymore. Still has Wiggins and Pascal with him. Mobley and Poole are there. That'll be interesting. Beal, Bagley, Hachimura, Wall. No comment. Of course, as you know, that trade never happened in this era. Embiid, Simmons, and Harris and Thibault are all there with Boogie Cousins joining them. Milwaukee, Middleton, DiVincenzo, Christian Wood is now a member of the Bucks. Aaron Gordon, Eric Bledsoe. Of course, LeBron James signing with the Bulls, playing with Kobe White, and then Rozier III and Daniel Gafford and Vassell, they're all there. The Cavs got LaMelo Ball to go with Porter Jr., Carter Jr., Garland, and Kevin Love, who is still in Cleveland. The Boston Celtics, Tatum, Brown, Walker, Hayward. That's interesting. Clippers, Victor Oladipo and Steph Curry playing in the backcourt together in the Clippers Nation, with Covington, Zubac, and Jackson taking the role in the front court. That'll be good. Halliburton, Little, Parker, Brunson, and Green for Pittsburgh. Morant, Jackson, Clark, DeRozan now with the Grizzlies. That could be interesting with Whiteside. Trae Young re-signed with the Hawks. Porter Jr., Collins, Capella, and Gary Payton II, who, if you remember 2 years ago, kind of, because he was given a starting spot, kind of grew up a little bit, did well. All right, Butler re-signing, Harrow re-signing, that's going to make them solid. Zach LaVine is now a Charlotte Hornet. That's interesting. Carmelo Anthony, that's Cole Anthony, isn't it? In Charlotte, that's good. Mitchell, Chris Paul with the Jazz, Valanciunas, Bogdanovich, Clarkson. Fox, of course, Sharif O'Neal, supposed to be the #1 draft pick, ended up going #2 to the Kings, and now gets matched up with Hield, Bridges, and Fox, and Bogdanovich in Sacramento. That's good. Paul George, Cade Cunningham, Okoro, Griffin, and Grant are playing for the Knicks. The Knights have Phillips. This is the Lakers still have Kawhi Leonard and Anthony Davis playing together with Montrezl Harrell, Serge Ibaka, and Pat Beverly. So they are still probably going to be solid. Gobert starting at center for the Magic next Jonathan Isaac and Vucevic and Mo Bamba. I mean, they're stacked at center. Look at that, 86, 83, 82. I mean, they are just flat stacked at center. Wow. Dallas Mavericks, they'll have Doncic, Porzingis, Troy Brown Jr. The Nets, Kevin Durant re-signs. Mitchell Robinson slides over to the other side of New York. Karis LeVert, of course, still playing there because that trade never existed. And they still got DeAndre Jordan, who's now playing backup to Mitchell Robinson. That'll be interesting to see how that works out. Jokic and Murray, Bol, all still with the Nuggets. The Pacers, TJ Warren re-signed with them. for 5 years, $211 million. Yikes. That is crazy money. Pelicans still have Zion. Okay. Pistons, Jameis Wiseman, Lonzo Ball, and Julius Randle. That's interesting. Colin Sexton ends up signing a 2-year, $67 million deal to go to the Toronto Raptors to play with OG Anunoby and Pascal Siakam. Kyle Lowry is now not going to be the best backcourt player they got, so that'll be interesting as well. Harden, Irving, Shamet, Okobo, and Clemens with the Rockets, and that brings us back to us. So it's going to be interesting. I'm not exactly sure what to expect. But the season's going to start off rough as we will immediately be hosting the Cleveland Cavaliers in our first game of the season. So come back at the next video if you like this. We'd like to see probably 10 likes on the video to come back with part 7. We're season 3 where we go out to try to defend our world championship. And we really enjoy doing this. So I hope you enjoy the video. And we will see you next time when season 3 plays out. Until then, get you some. Talk to you later.